You have heard that AI data centers are pushing up your electricity bill. It is one of the few AI claims that reaches into a household directly, and unlike most of them, this one can actually be checked. There is an organization called PJM Interconnection that runs the electricity grid for more than 67 million people across 13 states and the District of Columbia. And every year it holds an auction that sets part of what everyone in that region pays. PJM publishes the results as a free document. Almost nobody opens it. So I opened 4 of them. Every number in the next 8 minutes comes out of PJM's own reports, and the list is the first link in the description. First, what this auction is, in plain English, because it is the part everyone skips. A grid does not just buy electricity, it also pays power plants to be available on the worst day of the year, whether they run or not. That is called capacity, and PJM buys it 3 years ahead in an auction. The price comes out in dollars per megawatt per day. When that price goes up, it goes into the wholesale cost of serving everyone in the region, and eventually, some of it reaches retail bills. That is the mechanism. Now watch what happened to the price. For the 2024 to 2025 delivery year, capacity cleared at $28.92 per megawatt day for resources in most of the region. That number had actually gone down from the year before, when it was $34.13. 3 auctions later, for the 2027 to 2028 year, it cleared at $333.44. So here's the arithmetic, and it is one division you can do in your head. 333.44 divided by 28.92 is about 11.5. The price the grid pays for capacity went up roughly 11.5 times in 3 auctions. That is not a percentage that needs explaining away. That is the number going up by a factor of more than 10 in 3 years, and it is printed in PJM's own reports. Now the question that actually matters. Is this data centers, or is that just what people say? This is where most coverage reaches for an analyst. We do not have to, because PJM says it itself. In its own announcement of that auction, on the 17th of December 2025, PJM writes that the forecast peak load for the 2027 to 2028 year is about 5,250 megawatts higher than the forecast used for the previous auction, and that nearly 5,100 megawatts of that increase is attributable to data center demand. Nearly 5,100 out of 5,250. That is, the grid operator, in writing, attributing almost the entire increase in demand to data centers. So the claim holds on the demand side, from the grid operator's own mouth, which is exactly when a check gets interesting, because the newest document says something the headlines did not carry. PJM held its next auction and published the result on the 14th of July this year. The price came in at $325 per megawatt day. That is a 2.5% decrease, and it secured 138,318 megawatts, which is about 3,800 megawatts more supply than the auction before it. So the most recent data point is a lower price and more supply. That does not undo the 11.5 times. It does mean the line is not still going straight up, and if you only read last year's coverage, you would not know that. But here is the honest reason the price stopped where it did, and it is not supply catching up. Both of those numbers are a cap. PJM, working with the governors of all 13 states and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, put a ceiling and a floor on 4 of these auctions. And in the appendix of its own report, PJM publishes what would have happened without it. The 2027 to 2028 auction would have cleared at $529.80 and $542.83 in the Dominion Zone, which covers Virginia. PJM's own line is that the cleared megawatts times the prices would have gone up $9.9 billion over the actual result. So the number you see is being held down by a policy decision, and PJM published the size of the gap itself. Now, how much money is this? PJM does the arithmetic for us. The cleared supply procured in the auction times the clearing price totals $16.4 billion, and you can check it. 138,318 megawatts times $325 times 365 days comes to about $16.4 billion. It reconciles. But read PJM's very next sentence, because this is the sentence that keeps this video honest. The total value does not equate to the total cost to load, because load that is hedged through self-supply or bilateral contracts is not exposed to the clearing prices in the auction. In plain English, a lot of that power is bought under long-term contracts at other prices, so this is not a bill anybody pays in full, which is why you will not hear a dollars per month figure from me. You have seen those numbers. They vary widely. They come from advocacy groups rather than from the grid operator, and PJM has told you in its own release that the auction total is not the cost to load. Turning a $16.4 billion wholesale figure into your specific bill requires your state, your utility, your rate class, and your hedging. And anyone who hands you one clean number for all 67 million people has stopped doing arithmetic and started doing marketing. So the honest answer on the household number is that this document does not contain it. And there is one more thing in these documents that cuts the other way, and it is the piece I did not expect. In January, PJM published its load forecast for the year, and the near-term forecast came down. For the 2028 auction year, the summer peak forecast fell by 4,414 megawatts, a drop of 2.6% against the previous year's report. PJM explains why. It now requires firm commitments for near-term years and treats longer-term data center projects as non-firm and derates them. In plain English, PJM tightened the checking on the requests, and some of the data center demand that helped set these prices was a request rather than a commitment. Now, the thing I did not go looking for, which is the most serious number in all four documents, and it is not a price. Both of the last two auctions failed to buy enough. The 2027 auction came up 6,516 megawatts short of the reliability requirement. The next one came up 6,831 short. PJM's own sentence is that these were the first auctions in its history in which the entire region fell short of the reliability requirement. The reserve margin came in at 14.4% against a 20% standard. PJM is asking federal regulators for permission to hold a special backstop procurement in September to cover the gap. So the verdict. Part 1. The claim holds. Data centers are driving the demand growth behind these prices, and PJM says so itself rather than being accused of it. Part 2. The popular version overshoots. The newest auction cleared lower with more supply. The last two prices are capped rather than market set. PJM's own total is not a household bill, and PJM's own forecast came down once it tightened its vetting. Part 3, and this is the one worth carrying. The money is not the real story. The The grid failed to buy enough capacity 2 auctions running for the first time ever, and that is a reliability number rather than a billing one. What that means for you depends on where you live, and the honest instruction is to go and read your own state's rate filings rather than a national headline, because that is where your number actually gets decided. And here is what would change our mind. If the next PJM auction clears above $333.44, the falling price finding is dead, and we will say so. If the backstop procurement in September closes the shortfall, Part 3 of that verdict softens. And if PJM's next load forecast goes back up, the vetting point goes with it. We will come back to this one. Quick question, and I read these. Has your electricity bill actually moved this year? And which state are you in? Put the state in the comment, because this is one of the few topics where the answer genuinely is different depending on where you sit, and 100 comments would tell us more than any single national figure.